Archie Kalyana, who's the diversity producer of cricket for BBC Sport. Now, of course, as you've gotten to know me over the last couple months, Soho Media Club, I'm a sporty kind of girl. And whenever we have a women in sport production, I get very excited. So welcome, Archie.
Good, thank you. That was a lovely introduction. I'm so pleased to hear we're on the same page. Thank you.
100%. So tell us a little bit more about what you do and about this role. We hear that it was kind of crafted specifically for you and the kind of amazing achievements and challenges that you're implementing into the BBC Sport, not only to the BBC Sport, but the world of sport.
Oh, thank you. Wow, that's something to live up to, isn't it? Yes, so this role was specially created. The BBC obviously understands that we've got some challenges around diversity, etc. And in sport, they've made that massive step forward where they created this diversity producer role, and they spoke to me about it. I applied and I got it. So my role is basically to create content specifically for a South Asian audience, and it's a bit of a dream job, Murky, to be completely honest. I love cricket. If you're from an Asian background, then cricket is pretty much in your blood. There's no two arguments about that. You can like football, you can like other sports, but cricket is in our blood. So my job is to create this fantastic suite of content, whether it's film content, Dusra, a podcast that I've been producing recently, filming all over the globe, really, back and forth to India and Pakistan, and make that content that we know there's a massive appetite for it, and the South Asian audience are mad about cricket.
And what are the kind of situations that come up that the objectives that you have to fill in terms of the sport of cricket and diversity?
It's a tough challenge. I mean, like I said, it's, I've got an audience who have got the appetite, who want to see good cricket content. So it's kind of identifying, who are the heroes, who are the kind of the David Beckhams of cricket in India and Pakistan, for example. How can we get them on our shows? How can we engage and interact with them and just make that amazing content that will inform people, it will entertain them, and really, speak to people so they don't have to, quite frankly, switch over to other channels and pay huge costs for subscription services, when actually, as a public service provider, we're making that content for you. And the pictures that you just saw coming up on the screen there, that was from a Pakistan trip. That was in December last year. I'd been at the BBC for about 3 weeks, and my assistant editor came over to me and said, "How do you feel about going to Pakistan?" And I nearly fell off my chair. I swear, I was so excited. So that was to cover the Pakistan v Sri Lanka game in Rawalpindi. A historic moment, because Test cricket was coming back to Pakistan after 10 years. So that for me will always be a big milestone in my career. And then the IPL, which unfortunately has been postponed. But again, I've been given the huge responsibility, sort of thinking about what kind of content can we make that people will really love and enjoy and come back to time and time again, and for BBC Sport and our coverage to have the go-to content.
Yeah, and you're doing amazing work, and we're super proud to have you on the show. Would love to hear more about the podcast, if you can tell us how that creation kind of spawned. And I know it was existing already, but what kind of flavors are you adding into the podcast?
The Dusra podcast has got everything. It was a little bit strange as a program maker, a filmmaker, to be asked, would you like to produce a podcast? And I did kind of hesitate for a moment, thinking I've never done anything like that before, but actually the skills are the same in terms of editorial. You're still putting together a program, and I've got 3 fantastic presenters. Atif Nawaz is a British Asian comedian, really great and loved in this country. Isha Guha, World Cup winner, ex-England cricketer, and Ankur Desai, who works for the Asian Network. So 3 really great personalities. So what I'm bringing to them are really big star names from the connections that I've kind of built up over the years. We've had people like Yuvraj Singh, one of the biggest names in Indian cricket, on our show recently. He talked about his illustrious career and the great work he's doing with his foundation at the moment. Moeen Ali, one of the biggest British Asian names in cricket, and an England World Cup winner. So really proud to have him on the show. Shahid Afridi, big name in Pakistani cricket as well. And again, the foundation work, the charitable work that he's doing. So what I'm bringing are this big kind of A-list cast basically to the program, but then
Yeah.
also these great presenters, I'm pushing them to, you know, kind of draw a bit more, you know, what do these guys get up to outside of cricket? And then not forgetting women's cricket as well. We've had the Pakistan women's cricket captain on our show. We've had Smriti Mandana from India as well. So it's kind of given women, you know, that push and that platform where maybe they would have been considered, but not in a direct kind of informal way where presenters are having a chat almost like with friends. And we've been picked up all over the world. You know, our social media clips are going viral. We're getting great responses. We're getting name checked in India and Pakistan. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more? What are the dynamics between the men's cricket and the women's cricket? Because women's cricket, you know, just like women's football, has become more popular, I think, with, you know, the generation coming up. It's available in schools more, in the training programs, and the funding. How do you see those dynamics cooperating in terms of diversity and fairness and equality?
Well, they're cooperating really well, and our job as program makers is to make sure we give them that platform. You just have to look at the audience figures for the Women's World Cup recently in Australia, and those were fantastic. That just shows us that, again, we know there's that appetite. I know both in India and Pakistan, the BCCI and the PCB are making great steps in terms of their strategy and how they're pushing women to take part in programs and improve their profile. So we are getting there. It's still slow because obviously in countries like India and Pakistan, you know, we still need the academies. We still need that push at grassroots. There are the cultural differences. Whilst, you know, 10 years ago, we are making great progress. Here in the UK, the ECB have a South Asian women's cricket program as well. And that's great. I've had some involvement in that as well. And it's a really exciting time to be in sport, and particularly, you know, pushing women and saying, look, you know, you can get involved in this. You can have a career in sport. You can watch it. Cricket is for everyone, quite frankly.
Now, I actually did buy a cricket set once upon a time for a friend of mine, because that's one sport I've never played before.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to go out and do that in a socially distanced, respectable manner. So speaking of which, how are you planning for, you know, what is going to happen with the season ahead over the next 12 months, whatever season that is around the world? So what kind of dynamics are shifting there?
Mookie, it's going to be a really tricky one. Social distancing, and you know, the health and safety is foremost. You know, whichever cricket board, whichever country you go to, that's going to be top priority. It looks like cricket will be played behind closed doors, quite frankly, which is going to be a challenge for us, for the fans, obviously. For the fans and the players not having that audience engagement. I mean, if you look at something like the IPL, for example, that is all about the fans. We work very closely with the Rajasthan Royals, who are absolutely fantastic, and we're hoping to go over and spend quite a bit of time filming with them. When the IPL does resume, again, that will be behind closed doors. The PSL, the 100, the big tournament that we were working towards, that's now shifted to next year. It's going to be a tricky one. There'll be some kind of a biosphere kind of environment where, you know, the players will have to quarantine and play behind closed doors. It's a different set of challenges. But as a program maker, I kind of think, hang on, there's a wealth of stories. You know, these guys, 30, 35 players coming over from these different countries. They can't play cricket 24 hours a day, surely. Can they?
I'm sure some of them can somewhere.
I'm sure some of them can, but we want to make great content with them. So,
exactly.
Yeah, look forward to that.
And BBC as a broadcaster has such legacy with sport and sport production. This, even if it's behind closed doors, it still creates the opportunity to do these live streaming, finding that remote production, experimenting with 5G and so on and so forth. So we can talk for hours about this. I normally don't, you know, so we regroup on that in the group call. Thank you so much, Archie. That's super cool insights into the world of cricket, women's cricket, men's cricket, podcasting, and everything else in between.